What's going on, everyone? So Jordan Goodwin has looked like an absolute steal for the Los Angeles Lakers. He has been very good for the Lakers thus far. Been 2 games, but still, you're seeing everything that you want, right? You're seeing the defensive versatility, you're seeing the rebounding, right? Did a whole breakdown of Jordan Goodwin, all the things that you want to see from Jordan Goodwin, you are seeing. So, of course, everyone wants to know, can we sign Jordan Goodwin, right? People are saying, like, waive this guy and waive that guy and do this and do that. So the question is how can the Lakers land Jordan Goodwin and still a center, right? Because the Lakers need a center more than anything. As great as Jordan Goodwin has been, you still need a center, right? And if you are, like, if you were able to get Mark Williams, right, well, then you'd be able to just bring in Jordan Goodwin, especially since you would have gotten rid of Cam Reddish in that same trade, opening up that raw spot, clearing some money, right? Even if you wanted another center, you would have had $3.8 million. They would have had to go get 2 guys. Issue is that you don't have that. And unless that trade ends up going through and the NBA forces it, which I highly doubt, I think the NBA is probably going to stay out of it because the Lakers aren't nixing the trade because they just got cold feet. Nixing it because of the data, right? Because of the test that they put him through that shows the concerns longevity-wise. So I think that the Lakers are going to be like, hey, here's the reports. This is why. And that trade's going to fall through and be done. And then maybe they renegotiate in the offseason. We'll see how that plays out. But can the Lakers sign both Jordan Goodwin and say like an Alex Len or something like that? There's talks about Alex Len coming in. I mean, by the time you're watching this video, maybe Alex Len is already signed. But yes and no, right? It depends on how the Lakers structure it, right? So when you waive a guy, because they're all guaranteed contracts, what will happen is it still counts towards the cap. The Lakers only have, $1.8 million, I believe it is, in salary that they can sign a guy. So, for example, there is, 31 games left right now. It is prorated. So it depends on what the pro rate is, but it varies per player. It varies based on, the player's tenure and, various factors, right? So the Lakers could, in theory, yes, waive both guys and bring both guys in if their contracts are cheap enough to stay under the second apron, right? If the Lakers can get the pieces that they need, right, and they can fit it in the cap space that they have, then yes, they could bring both guys in. Chances are what will happen is the Lakers will wait. So Jordan Goodwin can still play, the 31 games or whatever that's left. My guess is that the Lakers will probably play him in those 31 games between now and right before the playoffs. And then what will happen is the Lakers will waive him or waive somebody like, let's say Christian Wood. Let's say they waive Cam Reddish to bring in, Alex Len, and then they get right into the playoffs and waive Christian Wood and bring in a Jordan Goodwin, because at that point his contract would be like, $100,000, right? So now the Lakers could be able to bring both. Great example. They didn't necessarily waive a guy and bring a guy in, but like Tristan Thompson, the Lakers brought in a couple years ago, like literally like the day before the playoffs began or the play-in began, right? And his contract was like $100,000, right? Because again, it's prorated. So I think the Lakers probably do something like that where they bring in the center because that's the biggest need, that's the biggest priority. Now, you can still play Jordan Goodwin essentially the rest of the season, and then once you get to the end of the season, you waive that guy, you bring Jordan Goodwin in so he can still practice, he could still, play games, he could still get acclimated with the team, still get comfortable in the ways that he needs to get comfortable, right? Kind of gives you an opportunity to really evaluate him more than just 2 games. Because right now we're looking at it and we're like, dude, this guy is rebounding, this guy's defending. He dropped 10 points in the first game, 17 in this game, got 8 rebounds in this game. The guy is just like everything that the Lakers need, right? And I see a lot of people that are like, can he replace Max Christie? Yes, in the sense of like the defense point of attack. Now he is 6'3", where Max Christie is, 6'5", but he's got good weight behind him and still moves very well, and he's just more physical. He's actually the same height as Gabe Vincent, but he's just bigger, right? He's stockier, better lower center of gravity, able to kind of withstand the physicality more than a Gabe Vincent. So yes, he can be kind of the defensive supplement that you're losing from Max Christie, but historically, 3-point shooting wise, he's not going to give you what Max Christie will give you, right? The consistency from the three-point range. I know he shot 50% last night, and so people are going to look at that and go, oh, he can shoot too. Historically, he can't. Now, it's very possible. Things are very different when you're playing alongside Luka and LeBron, two of the greatest shot creators, and the type of looks that he's going to get wide open. I mean, everyone was getting wide open. I mean, Rui missed three. He shot 50% from three, but he missed like three wide open threes. Like literally no one was around because everyone's so worried about Luka and LeBron, right? So Jordan Goodwin, I could see him being consistent from three-point range. It doesn't need to be elite, right? Can he just be like 36, 37%? Just good enough to where teams have to respect it, where teams have to be honest on it. If you can do that, then I think the Lakers would be in really good shape. I think then, yeah, he would be a huge acquisition. But you've seen the mid-range, right? Like the things that I talked about when I talked about him in the past, when I talked about the announcement signing, right, was he's an excellent rebounder, a guy that can get you, 8, 10 games. I talked about him in comparison to like you look at a Josh Hart, right? Kind of in the same mold. Just always in the right place at the right time, does the dirty work, can grind it out, right? Knock down the occasional three, but rebounds excellent for a guard, right? Like all of those things. Like that's what Jordan Goodwin can provide. He was really good for Phoenix last year too. And even Memphis. I think it was Memphis, right? Like he's a guy that gave Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell some fits when he was on Phoenix, right? Because he's very physical. He can get after it, right? He's hard-nosed. He's willing to do the dirty work, right? He understands his role. I mean, he even said it himself, right? He said, like, I know why the Lakers brought me in here, rebounding and defense. I know what my role is on this team. I know what I need to do to make this team and be a part of this team. And he's willing to do it. He's willing to play that role. And you need those guys. You need those grit guys. You need those hard-nosed guys. You need those guys that are willing to dive after loose balls and defend the best player on the other team, right? Especially in the Western Conference, right? Going up against teams like that have SGA and Ja Morant and these guys, right? Like you need those guys that you can throw on them and deploy on them at any point, right? I don't think he's going to play a ton, particularly in the playoffs, right? Because like usually you go to like 8 or 9 guys, right? You're looking at Luka, LeBron, right? Looking at Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt, Dorian Finney-Smith, Gabe Vincent, right? And then your centers, Alex Len, Jackson Hayes, whoever they end up getting. If the Mark Williams thing goes through, then Mark Williams, whatever, right? So then now at that point, it's probably just spots for guys, right? Your 9th guy's probably your backup center, right? I do imagine Lakers probably go a lot of small balls, so maybe the backup center doesn't play a ton unless it is like Jackson Hayes and you did get an Alex Len or a Mark Williams, something like that, right? So, how much I think Jordan Goodwin is more likely than not going to be just that like assignment guy, right? You're playing the Thunder, going up against SGA. You have Jared Vanderbilt on him for 15 minutes. You have, Dorian Finney-Smith on him for 15 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever. And then you have Jordan Goodwin on him for 10 minutes, right? Because Dorian Finney-Smith is defending other guys, whatever, right? Like, and, you utilize him to kind of wear those guys down over the course of a game, right? In particular, like, great example, not from a guard perspective, but like in 2020 when the Lakers won the championship, right? Obviously, Jokic was a very different player, right? I want to make that clear. But part of the Lakers' game plan was just wearing Jokic down. You had Anthony Davis, the skilled center that could do a little bit of everything, right? And just could, hang with Jokic back then. Then you had JaVale McGee, who was just athletic and, long and lengthy and could just apply pressure. And then you had Dwight Howard who could come in and just be physical, right? And just wear him down, give him good hard hits, good hard playoff fouls, right? Things like that. It's kind of why I like the idea of a Trey Jamison. I think he could kind of be our Dwight, right? I'm not saying he's as good or anything like that, but I'm talking about just like that physicality, 6'11", 270, just mobile, athletic, physical, not afraid of the contact, right? Like he's a linebacker, right? The guy's he's willing to do the dirty work, right? So like that are the kind of things that I see, but now take that in scale with like, guard play or out on the perimeter, right? Having a guy that like Jordan Goodwin that you can deploy in spots during games over a long series where just another fresh legs, right? Like they're only one guy. They're only going to be they're going to be on the court X amount of time. They're only one guy. Well, if you can constantly throw fresh bodies at them, They're not fresh, but your guy is. So your guy should be able to be more active, be more physical, wear him down, do all those things, and really kind of just wear him out over the course of a 7-game series. That's where I kind of see Jordan Goodwin kind of stepping in, playing that role, and being that piece that the Lakers need. That's where I think you'll really see the value in a guy like a Jordan Goodwin, because I think he'll really be able to make an impact, particularly on the defense side, get to his mid-range shot. He's got a good mid-range bag. As you saw in the most previous game, he's a guy that can knock down the midi and then just be that physical interior presence, rebound the basketball, help, especially in like small ball units. I think he'd be very good, right? Like when you're running small, you need guys that can chase down the loose balls, that can get after it, rebounding wise, and Jordan Goodwin is one of those guys, right? Especially when you're small, right? Especially if you're going up against a bigger lineup, you need a guy that just has a nose for the ball, right? Just knows where it's at all times. So just something to kind of keep in mind. But yes, they can technically get him, just depends on the money. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think, yes, you got to bring Jordan Goodwin? Obviously, Lakers need a center, but you need to bring in Jordan Goodwin as well. Do you think, like, nah, it's fine, you can leave him off? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I'd love to hear it, so let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. We enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.